Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is it? It's June the 16th, the Wednesday night sessions, June 16th edition. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day. You guys are in for an amazing, amazing treat today. Have a special guest. We will have a special guest. Alana Scott King is in the waiting room. I'm going to bring her on, and she is an amazing lady who works with all kinds of cool stuff. I'm not even going to try to. I'm just making sure I am live. It looks like I'm live. You betcha. I'm not going to try to spoil it and let people know what we're going to talk about because it's going to be so freaking cool. You're going to love it. I'm going to love it. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. It's going to be pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just setting up so I can see my chat. There we go. If you have questions once we start talking, of course, just plump them into the chat and we will. Yes, you are live. There we go. See, people always know I need somebody to actually tell me I'm live because I'm never positive if I'm live or not. So Angie Stewart, thank you so much. You're my lifesaver. I'm live. Welcome again. I was almost said Sunday sessions again. Wednesday night sessions for June the 16th. And without further ado, I am going to bring our guest on. Let's make sure I don't remove her. Boop. I'm not removing her. See, I'm getting better. Alana, how are you, young lady? Did I call you young lady? It's a private joke. I won't get into it. But yeah, I'm the young one. Let's probably by months, but anyways, this is Alana Scott King from Alana Scott King Healing. Wow, that's a mouthful, Alana. When I have to say your name and then your company name. Ask Healing. I never realized that is so smart. I like it. That's awesome marketing. Remember, we said I'm not very good at this. Anyways, Alana, welcome. Thank you for taking time on a Wednesday evening to join me. It's an honor to be able to have you on my show. You're more than welcome. Why don't we start and why don't you tell us who Alana is? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
With Kim Wirch, which was really great.
Yes.
And it opened everything up.
Oh, awesome.
And it's like everything came through, and then I took some channeling and mediumship and all that started to come through. And then it's interesting because as you progress, different things happen. And one day while I was doing Reiki for somebody, distance Reiki, I had dragons coming through, which prior to that I thought was just on, TV.
Yeah, it was like this thing on TV that they're somebody's imagination running wild.
Yeah, and it was weird. I'm like, what? And it's interesting because the person I was doing Reiki for, and it was distance Reiki, I asked her, is your dragon this color? And she was totally into everything, and she's like, yeah, it is actually. And so,
wow.
Which dragons then started helping me with healing people. Helping with, physical healing, mental healing, that type of thing.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to interrupt. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So does everybody have a dragon?
Everybody I have encountered, most people do.
Oh, really?
I haven't encountered anybody who doesn't. Let's just put it that way.
So when you meet somebody, we just met for the first time, even though we're Facebook friends because we have so much in common on Facebook. We won't go there.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've actually met in person or on Zoom.
Yeah.
Live. Yeah. Can you see my dragon?
Yeah. Wow.
That is such a cool ability to have. I know I have one because when I did my channeling courses with Ken, of course, we found our dragon. That's amazing. I didn't know other people could see my dragon. I thought that was just my thing.
What I assumed everybody could see everybody else's, but most people can see their own, but they don't always can see other people's, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and so then I deal with a lot of different dragons for different things. I work with them very closely with healing. So if somebody has extreme pain, for example, I will, when I'm doing Reiki, pull in the dragons as well, and the healing is much more intense.
Is there a reason for that? Because that just, like, you literally just blew my mind. And again, we've just been friends on Facebook recently, probably in the last 3 or 4 months, I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
Thereabouts.
Sure.
Previous to that, I suffered a very bad car accident and was laid up for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Severe pain. Can you help people like that?
Yeah, one of my clients actually, it was when he was in the war. He's in his 60s, and when he was in the war, when he was younger, or in the military, I should say, not.
Okay.
He was crushed between 2 vehicles.
Oh.
And they said he'd never walk. Anyway, he did. He has 1 rib sticking out because it wasn't ever repaired. And he has a couple of crushed vertebrae. And so I do this for him, and he's in another province.
Okay.
And so I do this for him regularly. And I will ask him, like, I'll be on the phone because he doesn't do Facebook. He doesn't do any video stuff. And so it's like, okay, he's like, the first time it was like, holy shit, it feels warm. Pardon my language.
No, we're on Facebook. Be careful.
Yeah. So, and so it was, he was quite surprised. But,
wow, okay. That's
so
interesting.
I regularly am sending him healing.
It amazes me to this day, even though I've been doing this and I have clients of my own. I do readings for myself, for my clients. It still amazes me that the ability to heal by distance, the concept, my logical side of my brain says it's not possible. You have to lay hands on somebody to be able to heal them.
Yeah.
I know with Reiki, you do the whole not touching thing.
Yeah.
It's still, as you know, I'm a newbie. This is all, every time I talk to somebody new in this industry, I get blown away and I'm just like, wow, this is just like, I got a headache by the time I'm done because it's so hard for somebody who hasn't experienced it to comprehend and understand that what you do is real and more so effective.
Well, yeah, because until you've experienced it, you're like, how is that even possible that you can, help me with some physical pain and you're across the world or you're across, another, like, it doesn't even make sense. Or even if you're doing it in person, because you're not touching the person, which is what I prefer anyway.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like so bizarre the first time you have it.
Well, I remember the first time I went to an Infinity Healing with Kim Wirch.
Yeah,
and Ken, and I was like, okay, it's only $42. It's not a lot of money. I'm going to have an open mind, obviously. It was after I did all 3 of those. And so I'm like, obviously I'm going to have an open mind.
Yeah.
I was literally, I almost swore there. I was blown away by the feelings I got. And not emotional feelings. I'm talking like physical feelings of warmth here, or headaches, or
I know, it's bizarre.
It was like, okay, I'm getting like my head starting to really hurt. And then Kim would say, some of you might be feeling a headache. And I'd be like, okay,
what the heck's going on here?
Okay, I'm not going to say it next time. She's listening, right?
I know, woo, stop this.
Exactly. So I guess the reason I'm saying that, because I know there's people that is listening that haven't had the opportunity to use is a proper term a psychic healer? Would that be a proper?
For Reiki?
Yeah.
No,
no,
it's more energy healing.
More energy healing. I knew I was
and
wrong.
Reiki actually, when you're are doing Reiki, it's the person is actually helping themselves, healing themselves. You're just the channel that is between them, and it's like this universal healing force, shall we say.
And now, would I be correct in saying souls on the other in the spirit realm are helping with that, or is it just?
It's just energy. It's just energy. It's
just energy. It's just
unless you're pulling them in or something like that, but they're not part of.
And then you've got the dragons breathing fire on people and lighting them.
It's very busy.
It's like, holy.
I'm just gonna say.
Now, obviously, COVID happened. How long have you been doing Reiki? Is it Reiki or Reiki?
Reiki, I think.
Reiki? I never know which one it is. Okay.
Yeah, I call it Reiki.
How long have you been doing it?
It's, I'd say a year and a half.
Year and a half, probably. Okay. So not a whole long time.
Not
so
a long
you just
time,
started this, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I do probably 90% of my healing is distance healing.
Okay. Wow.
Even before, right?
Oh, before. Okay.
Yeah, like it's almost all, and it's very powerful, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then I like to do it in the evenings because then it tends to make you tired. So I try to, depending on the person's schedule, I tend to do it in the evening so that then they can go to bed. And then I always follow up the next day. How are you feeling? What are the sensations? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Now, a typical Reiki session is a 15 minutes, half hour, hour. What is it?
Yeah,
typical?
It depends on what it is. You know? So yeah, like distance is probably closer to half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, than in person.
In person, would we be stretching that farther?
Yeah, usually it's about an hour.
Oh, okay, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, you do more than just the Reiki. What else do you do in your Ask Healing?
Well, I'm also I teach Reiki as well, right? Because so I have my master's in Reiki and in Violet Flame Reiki, and
so you teach it online, obviously.
I teach it all online on Zoom, and I teach Heal Your Life courses online, mine as well. My readings are online. I do Akashic Records, because it's the energy. As soon as I connect with you, it comes through.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then you touch base on it. We won't go there. I interrupted you on purpose, and I hope nobody heard.
I wasn't going to go there. I just thought I'd dangle the carrot.
Yes, that dark thing, that dark stuff. You mentioned Akashic Records.
Yeah.
Just for people who don't know, how do you when someone says, "What the fudge is Akashic?" What's that word? Akashic Records. What is it?
Okay, so how I explain it, it has been around for, I don't know, all of time, I guess. I'm not sure when the first time they ever documented it, but it's basically a record for everything that's ever happened in existence. Now that can be, for me, I focus on past lives.
Right.
And so when I explain it to people, I'll say sometimes things will happen in past lives that may affect you in every lifetime, and unless it's transmuted, which is like neutralize the emotions around it, it keeps carrying forward. So we all have contracts, deals, and agreements with people, with ourselves, in which you don't even realize, right?
Right.
And one way I explain it is that, think of it this way: say you're young and you had your heart broken, and you're devastated. You're like, I'll never fall in love again.
Well, which we've all said it.
Yeah, which you've just made. But depending on how deep you're saying it, you've just made an agreement with yourself, and you tend to have issues with every relationship after that point in every lifetime.
Oh.
That's kind of a very
simplified, but yeah. But it's one that would be it would affect many, many people.
Yeah, but I mean, even phobias, like if a person, I have seen where a person has they're petrified of water, but they were drowned in another lifetime.
I lived it. I was terrified of mice, and it never made sense because, again, I always say my logical side of my brain said, I know that mouse can't hurt me. It's that big.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt me. But literally, I would have a panic attack when I saw one. I would hyperventilate. I couldn't stay in the room. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I once tried to save Ellison. She's listening and she's going to be laughing right now. I once tried to save her from a mouse. She fell down on her way out of the house. I might have bumped into her as I was trying to save her, but it's a long story.
As you were pushing her out of the way, is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's hilarious.
I took Akashic Records 1, beginner, with Kim, and found out in a past life I was held captive in a dungeon and had to deal with mice in a horrible way. That's where the fear came from. I haven't seen a mouse since, but even when I talked about it before, I'd get freaked out. I'd be like, I call them the heebie-jeebies. I don't get that anymore. So because through the Akashic Records, I was able to clear that emotion from it.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't get rid of the memory, just gets rid of the emotion, the fear around it.
Yeah. And depending on what it is, what I have experienced is that a person they may still have that fear of that thing.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as intense.
That's cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
so
like claustrophobia and stuff like that.
You offer past life readings through your healing company. Do you find a lot of times past lives cause things that happen in past life can cause you health issues in your current life? Yes. Is that a common thing?
It depends. It depends on the person. Everything's very. You can't just say it happens every time, right?
Right.
And one thing I really focus on as well, because when I'm doing Akashic Records, because I always feel like, when you're going and having some things done, it's like you're always looking for something that's wrong with you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If that sounds weird. It's like, oh, well, I'm afraid of water, and I feel like, okay, so what I also do in my Akashic readings is I also look for your happiest lifetime, your happiest career, your happiest relationship, and bring that forward, and so that you could feel that emotion of what it feels like.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll see the scene and what was it that was the reason for that.
Right.
And then I just suggest that whenever you're feeling, unsure, pretend you're that person again, and that happy best day of your life kind of thing, so that there's a balance.
Exactly.
Not everything has to be fixed. There's we always seem to focus on what we need to repair and not all the million other things that were great.
Well, and that's what I was thinking as you were talking there. I'm like, with past lives, I mean, I want to get to the point where I can offer past lives to my clients, past life readings to my clients, but I don't want it to be every time to be a healing session. I want it to be fun because it's kind of cool to find out what we did in past lives.
Well, yeah, it is. And it's really interesting, right? And depending on the timelines and stuff like that. And so it's just really interesting, but it's not all, crappy stuff, right?
No, I mean, obviously the more traumatic stuff.
Yeah, you deal with it for sure.
You have to deal with it sooner or later.
Of course.
I've lived some really cool lives in the past.
So it's kind of fun.
You can talk to Kim about our connection through past lives. It's quite a funny story, actually. We've encountered each other more than once in our past lives.
Yeah, interesting.
And it's quite funny that we connected again in this life because when I found out my past lives, it makes my life now makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, it does, doesn't it?
And do you find most of your clients find that?
Yeah. It totally clicks, when we go in and we see something and it's like, okay, because I'll be like, when is the first time what is the first lifetime where, so-and-so
This happened.
was afraid of water, right?
Yes.
What was that situation? What happened? And so then.
And why did it happen?
And why, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right?
It was funny because when I first decided I was going to take Akashic Records, and I always point, it's funny, eh? It's like, oh, look at my awards. It's not why I do it.
They're lovely.
I'm hoping Ken's watching because he always bugs me about it. So, I'm looking, when I look over here, I'm looking at the chat, and Narissa O'Reilly, she's like, I hate water, and it's like probably because something happened.
Yeah.
Angie Stewart is asking, good question. Curious on that one for my health. Yeah, I think that would be Akashic Records for Angie would be, I know that it would be very helpful. I'm going to actually pass your name on, Angie, to Alana. It's not something we're going to do tonight, but I want you guys to maybe connect somewhere down the road.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Brain fart. That was my brain fart, just so you know.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought. So yeah. Oh, sorry. When I took my first Akashic Records training, I thought I'd be able to do what you do. Like I thought, I'll just take this course. It's a 2-day course, and I'll be able to offer Akashic Records to everybody. Yeah. And I remember the first time I opened my Akashic Records, and that was when everything clicked for me, and I went, "Oh God. How can I even think of it?" It's so complex and so much. You have so much work to do on yourself, I'll say.
Yeah.
Is that the right word to say?
Yeah,
with yourself?
Yeah.
With yourself?
Yeah, for sure.
That you can't even think about helping others until you work through your own stuff.
And it's level 2 where you can do it for others, I think.
Yeah, level 2. And then is it level 3 as well?
Yeah.
So I got a long way to go before I even think about that.
But it's so interesting because with each level you go deeper, right? So
well, exactly. Yeah, I can imagine it's just going to be, and it just happens. I mean, again, everything happens for a reason. And we were going to do it right away, go 1, 2, and 3, but things come up, so we've put off 2 and 3. And I have a feeling now it's not going to be until like fall or winter.
But it's all divine timing, right? Because I don't even know how many times I had planned to take the Akashic Records course and then didn't at the last minute or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then ended up taking it with Kellyanne Bass, which is also an amazing teacher.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
She is.
Actually, I met her at the Heal Your Life training because she was assisting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned Heal Your Life training. I want to kind of dig into it. What is Heal Your Life training? It
is Louise Hay, who started Hay House, and
I think you have
she
frozen.
Has written so many self-help books, Inner Child, Mirror Work. What?
Oh, you're good now. You had frozen there for a second, but you're good now. Go ahead.
Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah. So she did a lot of inner child healing, mirror work, that type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so then it's a week-long course with them to take certification to be able to teach all of these courses.
Nice.
And to coach another week to be a coach. And anyway, so I met Kellyanne there, and we really connected, and then ended up meeting Kim through her, and it's very cool.
It's different how that happens. Eh? It's just such a for a big world. It's such a small little community.
Yeah, for sure,
definitely. So now this, what do you call it again? Sorry, Heal Your Life. Heal Your Life. So you teach this to other people.
Yeah.
And what's the basis of it? Like, so if I call you and say, hey, Alana, I want to do one of your Heal Your Life courses.
There's a lot of different workshops. Like I had taught a workshop online a few weeks ago, Journey into Self-Love.
Oh, okay.
And it's just, it was like 3 hour. I do a lot of little 3-hour workshops.
Oh, very cool.
There's one on grief. There's one on,
Oh, so it's not just one course. There's a bunch of different courses.
It's a whole bunch of different courses.
I've got you. Okay.
And she wrote a book, I think in the 80s, I think it was. And it was You Can Heal Your Life. And it's that course, I could do that course, but it's like 6 weeks.
Okay.
Of an hour a week, or an hour or two a week, or whatever.
Right.
And each chapter goes into different things, and forgiveness, and the whole thing.
Oh,
So
very cool.
so
very cool.
more self-healing type of stuff.
How often do you offer these courses?
Usually, it depends. So usually every couple of months or whatever, and
Okay.
I always have them on.
So it's not a
Facebook.
one-on-one course. It's a group course that you offer.
It's a
these
group
days.
course, and I've been doing them through Zoom, which has been really great. So
Yeah, Zoom has been
you know.
been our friend, has it not?
yeah, because I do readings on Zoom. I do the whole thing, the Akashic Records.
I mean, I would say
it's very handy.
probably 95% of my clients don't live within driving distance of me, so I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do their readings if it wasn't for Zoom.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
I mean you
works
can
so
do them by email, or you can, but it wouldn't be the same.
It's not the same.
No. It was funny because when I first started doing readings, I was so nervous. I would just pick up my phone and I would message people, and that's how I would
Yeah.
do the reading, is over
Oh,
Messenger.
wow.
But I would just type it out because I was too
Yeah.
nervous to go on camera. It was
Yeah.
my cousin, my nephew Dean Ozen was the first one I did live, and that was on Facebook Messenger.
Oh, wow.
And I went, oh, that was way easier. So then my son says, well, you should try Zoom. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And since then, it's
Yeah.
just been so much easier. Someone said to say hi, Alana Pinata.
Oh, yeah, love Alana.
She says, hi, Alana. And Susan says, I have a Reiki question.
Okay.
That's all she said. So, okay, Susan.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, let us know what it is, and we can help you out, maybe.
That's
Hopefully.
awesome.
Yeah.
Natasha Dunn. I've made a lot of changes lately. I'm wondering if there's any messages for me. Natasha, we're not going to do mini readings right now. So there's lots of messages for you. And people always ask that. Do you get that? Do you have any messages for me? I'm like, well, of course.
Yeah.
There's always messages. There's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
end.
And the thing that I don't think I realized this before I was doing this, is that it's not like you walk down the street and you're bombarded with spirits and messages, and it's like, oh, I guess it's like, it's only if I tap in do I
Yes.
get a message. And that's also ethics,
Yes.
because you cannot just go and do that for somebody.
No.
Because that has been done to me before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was giving her, I see this, and it was really bizarre. But anyway, it's like, anyway, so.
Yeah.
But it's just doesn't just come through. Len, you know that, right? It's
Well,
like,
I mean,
they come through sometimes, but not like unless you're focusing on it, right?
unless you're focusing on it. I've had where because I have a full-time job during the day and I do my
Mhm.
readings in the evening. If I have a reading in the evening, quite often I'll have their spirit guides come to me during the day at work.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, you're early. Can we do this? I'm busy here.
Yeah,
Right?
and that happens. I have a friend who does a lot, because I don't do as much mediumship. I do mediumship sessions,
Right.
but I have people like souls come through while I'm doing something else.
Right.
But I know with my friend Barb, she'd have an appointment with somebody, and then a day before or something,
Oh, yeah.
somebody for that person would come through. And
Quite
it's like,
often.
not yet.
Can you come back later, please? I
She's
know you
not
guys
here
don't
yet.
work on the
Yeah.
same time frame as we do,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I don't think,
that's like in 10 hours from now.
and you're gentle and loving with them, but
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
right at that moment, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that happens.
So Susan, I see what she said. I was like, I couldn't. Why doesn't the CRA recognize Reiki? Or doesn't recognize Reiki course online? I don't know what she's asking. I think. Why doesn't the CRA, Canadian Reiki Association, Reiki? I'm not sure. Susan, can you ask your question again? Because when you typed it out there, it doesn't make sense to me, and it could be just me not reading it properly. I don't know. Because of me.
Well, I think that association, you need to take a course that somebody has paid to be a member of them, if I'm I could be wrong. If somebody else knows the answer to that, feel free to jump in. But
So CRA, that's a Canadian Revenue
Canadian-
Association or Act or whatever.
so I'm thinking that there's a Reiki Association of Canada, right? Canadian Reiki Association.
Oh, okay. CRA, Canadian Reiki Association, doesn't recognize Reiki courses online. Oh,
It depends.
it depends. So some courses online they
it
will
depends.
recognize.
It depends. If you took a course, you see, it's kind of like there are some courses you can take that get accredited through them first, and then they will recognize. It's kind of like a membership thing, right?
Right,
So
exactly. So
So
you teach
you'd have to
you teach
contact them.
Reiki. Does your course get recognized?
no,
It
No.
doesn't.
No.
Oh, okay. Because you're not registered with them.
that's right.
Gotcha. And that's just yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah, and that's, it's fine. When I teach it, it's for people that are basically their own business, or they're doing it for themselves or whatever.
And I was just going to ask that. Do you find most people that take it are taking it for themselves, or are they wanting to start a business with it?
Maybe not a business. Like, it's funny because when I took it, because you have to take level 3 Reiki to be able to teach, right? That's teacher. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to teach it, but what it does is it really increases your abilities, because you're getting more attunements. And so
okay.
therefore it's stronger or more powerful, or whatever, how it comes through.
Right.
Is what I have found. I mean, other people may have found something else, but I did end up teaching it, and I do teach it, but yeah.
And I'm getting the feeling, again, most of my guests I've never met in person. I have met some, but I'm obviously channeling as we're doing this. You're a very effective teacher. And that's important, because I think it doesn't matter what someone's teaching or an instructor of, if you're not effective, you're just wasting money.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's kind of like when we have worked with people, right? So sometimes you'll work with somebody who's so good at their job, and then they are promoted into management and they're terrible.
I've seen it so many times.
Not everybody's a manager, right?
Exactly.
It's the same kind of thing, and I mean, I don't know. I love teaching, and
You can tell.
I have a lot of fun. I think because I use a lot of humor too, because that's how I learn better.
Yes, exactly.
Like, we've all been at work and sent to, seminar or something, and the person stands there and reads a PowerPoint the entire time. And so many times I think, couldn't you just email that to me?
It would have been more, and literally would have been more effective for me, because you're putting me to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, oh, it's so annoying. But anyway, so
Exactly.
yeah, so it has to be fun, because I need to have fun too.
Well, yeah, if we're not having fun. And I tell people that, because it's funny, because the biggest thing I get from people is I'm not what they expected when they book a reading with me, and we come on to Zoom, and they see this guy with a double chin and a t-shirt, or during wintertime, I usually have a hoodie on, and they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, it's not what you expected, is it?
You need to get a Dumbledore hat.
That would be awesome, actually.
Different response.
Oh, write that down. Dumbledore. Father's Day is coming up, kids.
Just saying.
Dumbledore hat. I'm writing that one down.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. But it's true, because people get the Hollywood impression of what we do. You do stuff totally different than what I do, but spiritual, in the spiritual community, you get that, oh, I've got the crystal ball and I'm going to, right? That's not a crystal ball. That's my mic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wear a thing on my head, and I'm going to have a robe on, and we're going to do some.
Yeah. And when I was young, and probably you too, used to refer to psychics as fortune tellers, right?
Exactly.
It's like, my parents would go to the fortune teller or something.
And it's funny because one of the first things I do is I tell people I don't predict the future.
No, I won't do that either. Because, you walk out the door and you walk left instead of right,
there goes
changes everything. And sometimes you'll try to make whatever that person said come true. So you make it come true.
Well,
right?
exactly. And I think with me and my guides, that's more why we don't do it.
Yeah,
is because
I don't.
Even though they might say, okay, if this person does this, it's going to work out really well. I'm like, you're on the right path. But that's as far as I'll say, because we can influence. And unfortunately, there's too many people out there that do what we do that don't have their client's best interest at heart, I'll say.
Because then or if I do give a little bit of information, I'll say, this is a possible outcome.
Exactly. And you're right. If you decide to go out the door and you were with the plan or the path you were on, you were supposed to go right, but you went left, everything changes.
All bets are off.
It's like everything. And they're like, but you just told me we planned our life. And I'm like, yeah, and you planned that if you went left, this is what's going to happen. Not
and
this.
Who really wants that anyway? Do you really want to know exactly what's going to happen in the future?
No. Life would be way easier.
But it would be no fun. It'd be boring, right?
Like, come on, it's the excitement of it, right?
No, you're not winning the lottery. Next.
Damn. I'm going to have to start saving now. Damn it. It's my retirement fund.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So we teach Reiki. We do courses on healing your life.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we do?
Dragons.
We work with dragons. That one fascinates me.
Work with dragons. Everything I do, every aspect of my business is healing. I only work with white light.
Okay.
And it's all for your highest and greatest good.
So when someone asks you what you do, you're a healer.
I'm a healer. Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm not.
And I'll do oracle card readings and stuff. I don't do tarot. Not because I have anything against tarot at all. I just am more doing angel cards. I work a lot with angels as well. What's
the difference between oracle cards and what did you say? Oracle cards and
tarot.
Tarot. What's the difference?
Well, tarot is really good. It's very specific, but it has very specific rules as well and stuff, which is fine. I just never learned all the exact meanings of every specific card. Has a very specific meaning, whereas oracle cards could have 20 cards in the deck. They could have 60, and it's more interpretations. I call in the angels, and then so
gotcha.
It's not quite as specific, so I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, because I do a lot of it with intuitiveness, and and the cards that come up, well, this is what I'm getting for you, blah, 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 blah. And I just never properly learned tarot. Right. So that's mostly why I don't do it.
And that's probably a good thing. If you haven't learned how to do it, don't do it.
Yeah, no.
That's the biggest thing.
I have an amazing referral if anybody wants that.
There is lots and lots of people that do tarot cards.
Yeah, which is great. And oracle, we all do it all, right? And a lot of people do both. It's just me personally. Every time I would go to learn, something happened and I don't know what happened.
See, it's really funny because so many people will be like, well, don't you do oracle cards or tarot cards, or don't you do this or that? And I'm like, no, I channel. That's all I do. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what your specialty is, right?
So, and I enjoy it. It's just one of those things where I started doing it and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm good at this. Yeah. And I have the ability to be able to connect with your spirit guides and pass messages back and forth. I have the ability to get loved ones to pass messages back and forth.
Which is amazing. Which is so good, right?
It's so much fun. For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's sometimes where you're getting a message where you're like, oh, crap, should I pass this one? Oh, let's check. Yeah, okay, I have to pass it, but I really don't want to.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, does this make sense? And you're using terminology that you would never use, and the
Oh.
person is like, they would totally say it that way, you know?
I do it. I'll say something and I'll be like,
Yeah.
in my own head. And a lot of times I'll watch the video back because a lot of times I'll tape my sessions and I'll for my client, but I'll watch them and I'll be like,
Yeah.
my face will go when I say something because I'm like, that wasn't my words. I never have said those words in my life.
No kidding, right? So it's really interesting.
Exactly.
Well, it's like this Saturday I'm at the Marta Loop market, so
Oh,
that'll
cool.
be fun too. Yeah. So for quick readings and stuff like that.
Oh, do you do mini readings there?
Yeah, I do.
Like past life readings, or what do you do?
Yep.
So this is just at a farmer's market, and you set up.
It's at the Marta Loop Community Center. It's once a month,
Oh,
and so
okay.
I'm doing it. Yeah, so it's on this Saturday. So
Oh, that's very
so that'll
cool.
be fun.
So
And I
if
always
anybody's in the
figured,
Calgary area and you
Yeah.
want to go
hop in
this,
or
and
say
that's
hi.
this Saturday, did you say, or Sunday?
This Saturday. Yeah,
This Saturday, what time?
it's 10:30 until 4.
10:30 to 4. That's very cool.
Yeah, so it'll be fun because I'll have a bunch of stuff going on there. So.
See, and because I started doing this through the pandemic, I've never done a live reading, like
Yeah.
in person, face to face. Obviously,
Yeah.
I do live readings on Zoom.
Yeah, but it'd be the same.
I'm actually nervous about it. I was like, and I won't
Yeah.
lie. I mean, millions of people are watching. Well, okay, 11.
When I say a million, I mean 11.
it could be a million down the road somewhere.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
it's going to stay up on YouTube and Facebook for all time. So
Yeah. Eventually.
eventually,
Could be. Hard to say. Yeah,
but
but
it would be nervous. I'd be nervous the first time I did it.
Oh, of course. Like last year was the first time I've ever done it. And I did it last year. And I was almost like hyperventilating because you're so nervous, right?
Well, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, ego, step aside. I need
Well,
to
that's
do
what it
this.
is, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to screw this up. I don't want to screw this up. Come on, don't screw
Yeah,
this
so
up.
it's like every 15-minute readings, and then I got really good. And it was actually after I took all levels of Akashic records that my business exploded.
Yeah, I can imagine it would.
Yeah, and so it was like in all areas. And so that's kind of cool, right? So, but
Well,
it's fun. It's kind of fun to meet new people too, right?
It is.
So,
It is. And it was funny because I was having a chat with Ken Lewicki. He dropped off one of my certificates for me. And he was asking me how the business is going. And I said, I have to earn them. And he kind of looked at me really weird. He goes, what do you mean you have to earn them? And I said, I feel like I have to earn clients to come to a reading. And that's by living what I preach. Living what I preach, and not preaching as in a pasture or anything like that.
yeah,
But-
let's not go there.
Exactly. We don't want to go there because anybody who's done a reading with me gets that message every time.
Yeah, yeah,
But you do if you're if I call it karma. If you're doing good here, it's going to happen over here,
yeah, for sure.
right?
You know, and if you're doing what you're doing for the highest good of the person
That's
you're
what
with,
I'm getting at.
that's all that matters, right?
Exactly. And that's why your business grows, is because
So, yeah,
you're doing it for the best interest of your client.
yeah, for sure. That's
So,
excellent.
we deal with dragons. So that's really very cool. But really, the real coolest thing that you deal with, and I'm so excited to get into this. And I shouldn't be as excited as I am because it's kind of
Okay,
that spooky, the things that go bump in the night, the
the
dark
dark
side.
stuff. Yeah,
The dark stuff. And people are always like, well, you always talk about the really good stuff and you don't bring up what's the dark side. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I like my readers
welcome
to
to
be
the
happy,
dark side.
right? But there is times, and I've done readings where I have felt the beings, I'll use the word beings, that aren't really friendly. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
for sure.
they're out there.
Mhm.
You have the ability to, is the right word deal with them? That sounds so bad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So what do you, like, explain that? Like, explain the whole souls,
Okay.
beings.
Okay, so souls are people that have lived and then have passed on, shall we say?
Yes.
Anything with a soul, right?
Right.
Okay, so beings are not necessarily that.
They're the
So
opposite of that.
like in movies, and I don't like using the word entity,
Yes.
but it's kind of like this dark thing that can come through. Now, and I just want to say that it's probably like less than 1% of people that ever have to deal with this. It's not like you have to be worried about going out at night, you're going to be attacked, or it's not the movies, right?
It's not the movies. It's not Hollywood.
But I have dealt with or helped some people. For example, okay, I'll give you an example, right?
Yes.
Because then otherwise it's like blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I had, say, one client, I've had a few, but this one particular client had a fairly violent life, shall we say.
Okay.
And then he kept having this, he kept having that, almost like a personality change, right? And very bad stuff, shall we say. And so then when I scanned him, because you scan when you're doing Reiki, for example,
exactly,
I could see this dark thing inside of him. Right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so then what I do is I'll pull in, so I need help. This particular one was very, very bad. And it had almost not taken over him. It wasn't like an exorcism or anything like that, but it was pretty bad. And so it would be in his brain, in his heart, around it, clutching his heart. He was having heart problems. And so then
Oh, here we go. I think we might be back on. Oh, it looks like we're back on. Let me see if we can get back on here. Share audio. We're gonna... Okay, I think we might be back.
Yeah.
As everybody knows, me and technology don't go well together. But that had nothing to do with a Kevin and lack of technology. That was the most bizarre thing I have.
Okay. Okay, so let me tell the story again.
Okay, I just want to before you do, I want to make sure we're actually live because my chat's not working. IP address could not be found on chat. I'm just going to go to my Facebook. That is so freaking bizarre. That was. Oh, you're back. So yes, we're back live again. My apologies, everybody. I'm blaming Alana on that one.
Yeah, I don't think it was us that did that.
Oh, really? I'm getting that somebody didn't want you talking about this.
It's a protection thing, I think, maybe. But
so let's start your story over again from the beginning.
Okay, I'll just basically this guy, he had something really dark inside, was in his brain. It went clutching his heart, and so I called in the dragons, the archangels of protection, and we went in. And sometimes different archangel. It depends on what's happening with the person, but it's kind of like the team, right? And then we go through, and I call in more than, it's not just my dragon, there's a bunch like that help.
Oh, okay.
And go in, and we have to extract it, because I refer to it as an extraction.
Okay.
And then this being, or whatever it is, needs to be returned to source. It has to go into the light. And so basically it's just putting a ton of light into this thing. It's pulled out of the person.
Right.
Okay. And this particular person had that was the worst part, because he had it before. But this time it almost killed him.
Oh, wow.
Where it was literally trying to, didn't like that he was going more towards the light than the dark.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so it was, that was pretty severe. And like I said, that's very, very rare.
And people, let me assure you, I can guarantee you, if you've done a reading with me, you don't have a dark being inside you. And I can literally look into each of your eyes and say, there's not a chance, because A, you wouldn't have done a reading with me. They wouldn't have let you. And if they did, my guides, your guides would have filled me in and let me know. So rest assured, again, when Alana says this is such a small percentage.
Such a small percentage.
When you figure it's less than 1% of the population on Earth would have this happen to them, we're talking how many people on the Earth? Billions? Yeah,
exactly. So, it just happens that they find me.
And for a reason.
Yeah, and the other thing I just want to make sure we say before anything else, I mean, I can give you some other examples, but because of everything going on in the world right now, it's a good idea for every person to surround themselves in protection.
Yes.
Because of a lot of stuff going on. Super simple to do. All you have to do, everybody has a dragon, just ask a dragon is like your guardian angel kind of thing, right? Okay, and so obviously not saints and angels, but anyway, just to clarify, ask your dragon to surround you in protection and keep you safe. Ask your angels to surround you in protection and keep you safe. And also to surround yourself with divine light. Not just light, just ask for divine light to surround you. It will, and I do that every morning. I do it every night. I do it before every session, every healing, because what happens too, like for me, is that when I pull these things off, they're not happy, right?
Of course not. They're pissed. Obviously, look what they did to us.
Yeah, and so sometimes they come after the person who's doing that, right? But I'm not afraid, because I feel like I'm very protected, and not to say, like sometimes some of them are scary and I am afraid, of course, because, you never know. There's always bigger and badder, and,
There's someone so you don't want bigger and badder bitch on the street.
Yeah, well, exactly. And you never want to take anything for granted. It's so important to respect the process or what you're dealing with.
And I was going to bring that up.
Very
if
important.
You don't know what you're doing and you haven't had the proper training, don't try it.
No, because it could turn on you, right? So
don't do it.
But but it's rare, right? And so again, not happening very often, so don't be freaked out.
And again, anybody that's done a reading with me has heard me talk about the banishment spell.
Yeah.
I say it after every reading. I say it so many times during the day, it's insane. I have actually given it to clients to say it because it gives them that space they need, right?
Yeah.
That's what you just talked about. It is an extreme case.
But there's also something else, not just about that, but when these things come for you or through you or whatnot, they feed on your fears.
Yes.
Your insecurities. So if you have if you're, feeling really bad about yourself, then they're going to try to make you, well, of course you're stupid. Of course you are. You're a loser. You're because they need your vibration to go low. The
lower, yes. And by vibration, other people will say your self-esteem. That's your vibration. You need to bring that up and make sure you're, like Alana was saying, you're protected.
Yeah.
Now,
because even at nighttime.
Do you do clearings of people's houses? I'll give you an example.
Yep.
In this house that we live in, it's a brand new house, so I know I'm pretty positive it's my fault. Allison was downstairs and she blames me. Trust me. She was pushed.
Rightly so.
Right, exactly. No, she was downstairs in the basement. It's an unfinished basement, and she was pushed from behind.
Oh wow!
Really freaked her out. I went downstairs after, and you could literally feel it downstairs. I did the whole banishment spell, get the F out kind of thing. And it seemed to go away to a certain degree. I still think it's not completely away. But do you clear houses? Is that part of your?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do a lot of that through distance too.
Yes,
I could either do it in person, but I do it a lot mostly by distance. And do you have a portal in your basement?
I don't know.
Okay.
I damn, I was going to talk about this privately. Now Ellison is listening. So let's just go there. Is there you're the expert in it? Is there a portal in our basement?
I think there is. Yeah.
Is there a way to close that portal?
Oh yeah.
We can work on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I'd like you to show me how to do that because.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be very cool. Cool. There you go, Al. You can sleep easy tonight. Wow, this hour has gone by way too darn fast.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
Even with the 5 minute of, you're not talking about that, Alana.
It's like something decided, no, I don't think you need to know that.
And it was so funny because I felt it when it was happening. It was one of those, no, you're not going to talk about that. And I was like, we probably crossed the line there.
Yeah. But it was good. It was fine because it's not like it does happen and it can be dealt with, but it's not normal. Like it's not normal. It's not the norm, right?
No, it's not. And let's face it, you and I are literally
not Amityville Horror here.
Well, and we invited this in tonight because we're talking about it. We're open. We're almost joking about it to the point where it's like, you're gonna joke, eh? Watch this.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
I feel like it was protection, actually.
Oh, you think that's what it was?
Down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay, cool.
That's what came through for me.
Okay. Yeah. All I know is everything shut down. It was like, okay.
And you're done.
And
the end.
The end. Well, at least we came back, though.
Yeah, exactly right.
At least we came back.
Good.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Okay, well, I have a website. It's alanascottking.com.
Okay.
But I also have Alana Scott King Healing on Facebook, on Instagram.
Cool.
As well, so.
Do you have set pricing, or is it really dependent on what?
Well, a lot of my prices are online.
Is it? Okay.
I have a promotion. I do have a promotion right now, normally for, say, an Akashic, just as an example.
Yeah.
Akashic Records reading for an hour is normally $100. I have a promotion. It's $85 right now. It's a summer special. So.
Oh, okay. And you're going to run that
for any 1 hour service. So
any 1 hour service, and you're going to run
Yeah.
that through for the whole summer?
yeah,
Oh, awesome.
yeah, I am. Since we're just starting to get back.
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
stuff like that. So yeah.
Awesome. So, and you can do the Reiki through distance. So if people are in
Yeah.
BC, or I have
Yeah.
listeners down in the States,
Yeah,
there's
like I
ways that you can pay
Yeah.
through PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. And I have PayPal as well. And because I have customers or clients that are in the States as well.
Yeah.
I have customers in different provinces and stuff like that. So it's, when you're doing distance, it doesn't matter if it's, from Calgary to Airdrie or Calgary to, Texas or whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's funny
Or
you said
Australia, for that matter.
it's funny you said Texas, because when I went to message you that we got disconnected, a buddy of mine from Texas had messaged me.
Oh, is that right?
It's like, who hasn't in a while? So
Doo-doo-dee.
exactly. Again, Alana, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. To everybody listening, check Alana out on her Facebook. She has all kinds of cool stuff on her Facebook. If you want to book a session with her, go to her webpage is the easiest way, alanascottking.com, and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and I'll be at the Marda Loop
Marda Loop
Market,
Saturday.
Marda Loop Community Center this Saturday in Calgary.
That'd be
if you're
fun.
interested.
You
fun,
might have a visitor. I think Ellie and I were looking for something to do, so that would be a nice little thing to do on a Saturday.
Very cool.
And it's supposed to be kind of crummy weather too, so
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be the greatest weather here.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you want to have a session with me, easiest way to do it is to go to my Facebook page, Kivelli Channeling on Facebook, and you can book a session right through there. Most of my sessions are either a half hour or 1 hour. I don't do near half of the stuff that Alana does, but if you want a reading, I can connect with your guides, and you can book it through there. Until next Wednesday, it's been awesome. Take care, and we will be